the recording. It is recording. And so as you come onto your back, and we're going to start with a little bit of somatic movement. So somatic movement is just phenomenal at releasing some of that tension that creeps in. Tension, tightness, it has many names, but it is muscles that are being held in a contracted state. And this, over time, becomes what the body reads as neutral, even though it may not be. We can't feel it. And as you lay down, take your legs out long and have the legs together. Take your arms down alongside your body with the palms facing your hips. Your sacrum and the back of the skull ideally travels on the same plane. So with the sacrum and the back of the skull traveling on the same plane. Hey, Bill and Aurora Borealis. Now, you may find that the shoulders are slightly lifted away or the chin juts back towards the space behind you, and that could indicate some forward head posture and tightness around the front body. And we worked on a lot of that in the somatics yesterday. But as you now lay, can you tilt your pelvis so the sacrum is touching the floor? The low back is still lifted, but not maybe over arched. And then the back of the skull. And notice what kind of effort you extend here. So this is your neutral posture. But when we flip it over, that tends to change. Now let's bend up the knees and start simply connecting to our breath, diaphragmatic breathing. Breathing in to the belly and out of the belly. Inhaling, belly expands. And exhaling, the belly relaxes. Notice the duration of your in-breath compared to your out-breath. Is the in-breath shorter or longer? And then begin to bring your breaths to be the same length. So lengthen the shorter one. You don't want to shorten a breath, but lengthen your shorter breath, whether that's the out or the in breath. The optimal breathing ratio, they say, is about 5.5 seconds for the in-breath and 5.5 seconds for the out-breath. That provides us with the perfect speed for optimum heart rate variability. And why do we care? We care because that is the amount of time that our heart needs to travel to speed up the breath and to slow it down, hence the name variability for a strong heart muscle. So that may take several practices to arrive at this. Don't strain, never strain with your breath. As you inhale next, let's begin to arch the low back. And as you exhale, come right into the flattening. Hollow out the belly. And inhale, arch again. We're going back and forth, and we're just inviting a little bit of movement into the low back and asking the tightness on the front to begin to release. Inhale, arch the low back. It lifts away from the mat. And exhale, flattening the low back, pressing it into the floor without using your legs. Not a big, hairy deal. Slow and easy. Notice if there are any catches, any discomfort. And the next time you come back to neutral, let's take the arms up, interlace the hands and place them behind the head. So the arch and curl. Interlace the hands under the head. And we inhale, arch again. Low back lifts. And exhale, flattening the low back. Draw the elbows in and curl up. Slowly release the head down, vertebra by vertebra. Give your elbows a little squeeze. And then slowly release the elbows out to the sides. Okay, we want to get the pec majors, the muscles that connects the arm bone to the sternum. Give us a little bit more space. Let's repeat this one. Inhale, arch. And exhale, flatten. Draw the elbows in, curling up. And inhale, slowly release down. And release the arms slowly out to the sides. If there are jitters and jumps in the releasing down, we know we have some chronic tension and tightness around the shoulder joint. Once all the way down, let's take a breath in and out. And then we'll repeat this one more time. Inhale, arch. And exhale, flattening. Draw the elbows in, curling up. Slowly releasing down, vertebra by vertebra. Another little squeeze of the elbows. And slowly spread your wings. We'll take the arms out to the sides. Walk your feet about as wide as the mat. And then as you inhale, take your knees down to the right, look to the left. Exhaling up to center. And inhale down to the other side. So easy windmill twist or windshield twist, wiper twist, whatever you want to call them. But just facilitating a little bit of rotation in the spine. As you draw down, let there be a little bit of a back arch. Pulling the top knee away from your hips and shoulders. Get a little bit of hip opening. And as you come up through center, flattening. So we still have the element of arch and flattening here. This movement is just a great move to help everything unstick. As you come up to center, walking the feet in. So they are both hip width apart and also as close to your tush as is comfortable for you. Heels under your knees. So now we begin on Loren Fishman's sequence, the one I attached in the last email. I'm going to do it a little bit out of order though. That doesn't matter. We're going to get them all in. Press the feet down. And inhale, pressing up, lift the hips. And exhale, lowering down. So we're just going to prepare the body by telling it, it's what we're going to do. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the hips. And exhale, lowering down. And now this is our keeper. Inhale, lifting. Now rolling the shoulders under, roll the shoulders under, and then either interlace the fingers, straightening the elbows completely, or hold on to the edges of the mat or use your strap. Let's lift the heels up, lift the heels. We're going to get a little bit more height. And then spike the heels down, spike the heels down. So bridge pose. The back of the shoulders are grounding, the heels are grounding. Don't press the back of the head down. Now, Loren Fishman recommends that we hold this for, he says, 72 seconds. Breathing in and breathing out. Of course, if you need to come out of any pose before that, I absolutely encourage you to do that. Ahimsa, the absence of harming. Breathing, squeeze the back seam, lifting, lifting as you ground down, press down. One more breath. And then release the hands and slowly release all the way down. Let the back seam relax. Just let your whole spine melt towards the floor. Let the breath be open and easy. And now let's take our strap. Take your strap or belt. It can be a towel. You just need an arm extender. We'll hug the right knee into the chest. Hug the right knee into the chest. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, let the knees soften down towards the chest. And we want to get the hip flexors to loosen their grip a little bit. Let's take one more breath. Let the knees soften down. And then strap your right foot. Place the strap so it's just around the heel. I got a lot of strap going on here. The strap is just in front of the heel. Straightening the knee completely. Straightening the knee completely. And then reach up through the big toe mount and the pinky toe mount and the heel. Take a breath in, as if your whole leg is breathing in, and as you exhale, draw your quadricep, the front of the thigh, onto the thigh bone. Ground your right hip. Inhaling, everything breathes in, and then exhale again, straightening your knee completely. Straighten the knee as best as you can. And it may mean that you're going to just take your strap out a little bit longer. The foot does not have to be straight up to the sky, but when the knee is straight, the quadricep is telling the hamstring, go ahead, dude, you can release. I got this. I got this. If your leg is almost straight up, take your left leg out straight. Take the left leg out straight. Inhaling again. Breathing into your entire right leg. And as you exhale, draw the thigh onto the thigh bone. Straightening the knee, straighten the knee. Breathing in and breathing out. Now take both straps into your right hand. Take your left hand to the top of the left thigh. If your left knee is still bent up, then let that go out to the side first. So still the strap on the right foot, still the strap on the right foot, both straps into the right hand. And then if the left knee is bent, let it release out to the side. And then we'll take the right leg out to the side, all the way out to the side. Right leg to the right. Reaching out through the right inner heel, through the right big toe mount. While you continue to draw your left hip to the floor and your hand on your left thigh, that just helps to remind you to keep your left leg super firm, super firm. Keep the knees straight as you take it out to the sides. This is rotation. So the side of your foot, the pinky side of the foot, will be parallel-ish to the floor. Parallel-ish to the floor. One more breath. And inhale all the way up. Let's take the left foot up, tuck it under the strap, and place the right foot on the mat. And let's just shake out the hands because they can get a little crampy here. Just shake it out. Do a little squid hands. And then grab the strap again. Straightening your left knee. Give yourself enough strap where you can straighten the knee completely. So a sense of the knee pulling up towards the hip. Breathing in. Ground down through the hip, straightening the knee by pressing the quad onto the thigh bone. Inhale, let go of the action of the contraction. And exhale, contracting again, contract. Squeeze muscle around bone. This deep contraction is what helps regrow bone. And again, breathe, contract, 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 contract the quadricep. Without hyperextending. Of course, you guys are looking awesome. If your left leg is almost straight up, take your right leg up. Take your right leg out straight. One more breath. And now take both straps into the left hand. Again, drop your right knee out to the side if your right knee is bent, because that just works better today. That just helps keeps balance now that we take the left leg out. So breath in and exhale. Left leg draws to the side. Reclaiming the inseam, left leg out to the side. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Just keep your mind on the breath. Contracting on the out breath. That is the yang, the action. Soften on the in breath. One more breath. And we inhale all the way up. Release the strap. Take your left leg down. Full body stretch. Reaching out through the heels, reaching out through the arms. And rolling over onto the belly. Let's roll over onto the belly. And again, take your strap or interlace your fingers behind your back. Shalabhasana. Ooh, that's a gold pose. So the hands are behind the back, holding my strap. You can also interlace your fingers. Key is to roll the shoulders up and down the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then as you inhale, lift the head, heart, and legs. Lifting up, lifting up. And exhale, lowering down. So hands are interlaced behind. Again, I'll have a look. See here, you'll roll the shoulders up and down the back. So getting the shoulders down, squeeze them together as we did in bridge, and then inhale, lifting up. Lift the head, lift the heart, lift the legs. Squeeze the shoulders together, but keep the back of the neck long. Not don't overarch the back of the neck. Lifting and exhale, lowering down. Lowering down. So these were our little trial runs. So now we are ready for the big Lebowski. Again, draw the shoulders up and down the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. The lumbar is on fire. And then inhale, lift the head, the heart, the hands, arms, legs, everything that you can find. And lift and breathe and lift and breathe. So the whole back seam is now activated. Whole back seam activated. 2 more breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. It's in there. 1 more. And exhale, lowering down. Whew. Release the hands, release the strap. Take the hands under the shoulders and push back to puppy pose. Push back to puppy pose. Shoulders are tucked under. Hips pushes back towards the heels. Toes are tucked under. Hips pushes back. And then inhale. Draw the shoulders up over the wrists. And we're going to take a little pit stop in downward facing dog. Coming into downward facing dog. Bend the knees and straighten the legs. Bend the knees and straighten the legs. Keep pushing back into the heels so your back is long. Spine is tractioning. Let's hold the knees straight-ish. Keep your spine long. So that may mean a little bit of a bend in the knees. Get the hips back, get the hips up and lifted. Hips are lifted, knees are bent, hips are lifted. And take the knees down and bring the legs out in front. So now we'll take a blanket and folding it in the, or sometimes called the hamburger fold. So it's sort of skinny-ish. 1 blanket, maybe 2 blankets. If the hamstrings are a little snug, it's going to feel better to sit up a little bit higher rather than lower. The amount of blankets and props that we use does not correlate to intelligence or overall personality, or greatness of personality, I should say. So I'm sitting up on the edge. Take the hands beside the hips, so Dandasana, seated staff pose. Seated staff pose. You can also sit up on a block here. That is just as valid. All we want is a little bit of height. And then let's take the right knee up, bend it in, and take your right heel as close to your right seat as you can. Your left arm coat hangers the right knee, and then take your right hand back. Take your right hand back behind you. So I'm placing mine right on top of my blankets. It can also be on a block. It can be the floor. Now let's create a lifted spine first. Inhale, lengthening up through the front spine. Lift up through the front. And then exhale, twisting to the right. Lifting up, 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 up. And exhale, twist. 1 more breath, we lift up. Pull the spine into the back body. So there's a little bit of a back bend here. Turning, looking all the way over your right shoulder. Draw the right shoulder further back. Now keep your right shoulder pulling back, but you turn the head and look over your left shoulder. We're going to counter twist. Inhale, still lengthening up through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist the right shoulder further back. And 1 more. And then turn the head, look over your right shoulder. And unwind completely back to center. Dandasana. Seated staff pose. Hands beside the hips, lift up through the front body, lift up through the front. And we take the left leg in. Right arm coat hangers the left knee. So right arm, the forearm hugs the knee and the elbow is right at the knee. Take your left arm back. And once again, inhale, lengthening up, pulling up through the sternum, the crown of the head, and we begin to twist. And then we inhale, we lengthen up again, we pull the vertebrae up, 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 and we exhale, we explore the twist. Inhale, lifting up, deepening the twist, looking all the way over your left shoulder, and then keep the shoulder where it is as you now turn the head, looking over the right shoulder. Looking over, hey Terry, welcome. Moving with each breath, create height, the in-breath, the yin space. And as you exhale, there's the yang. Breathing, breathing. And then slowly release back to center. Take the legs out long again. Hands behind, either on a block or your blankets. Take the arms up, hook the thumbs, hook the thumbs. Reaching up, reaching up. You're lifting, lengthening. Again, we want space. And we take the hands down. Now bend the knees up a little bit. Bend the knees up a little bit. Reach your right arm under your right leg and catch your left ankle. Catch the left ankle. Pull it back with you and pull the left heel next to the right hip. So I'll turn around, you can see better what I'm doing. I'm reaching under and then I'm taking it to the outside. Then I'm placing my right knee across to the outside of the left thigh. And this definitely easier if we sit up. So blah, blah, I'll start from the beginning. Left heel to the outside of the right hip. Right foot to the outside of my left thigh. So my knees are stacked. They're not touching, but they are on the same plane. So this is a little tighter twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana, don't worry, there won't be a twist. There won't be a twist. But we're going to use the left arm again. Coat hanger the knee. So wrap your arm around your right knee. Right arm goes back again. If you are finding that this is wickedly uncomfortable and you are listing a lot to the left hip, onto the left hip, straighten your left leg out and simply keep your knee just across the center line. It becomes a little bit of a deeper twist, but the bottom leg, the left leg, does not have to be bent up. It can be straight as well. So we want the sits bones to land evenly. And now let's get some length back in the spine. Inhale, lengthening up, lengthening up. And exhale, we twist. Draw your right knee towards the center as you twist. Inhale, lift up through the sternum, lift up through the crown of the head. And exhale, deepen the twist, looking over your right shoulder. Lift, 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 lift. And deepening as you exhale. Ground your right sits bone. Ground down through the right sits bone. Breathing. Each breath changes the pose just a little bit, a little bit. One more breath. And then slowly, we return back to center. Let's take the legs out in front. Oh, we need to do the other side for sure. So bend the knees up a little bit. Reach your left arm under your left knee. Catch your right ankle. Take it to the outside of your left hip, and then my left foot to the outside of my right thigh. Left big toe mount grounds down. Coat hanger, your left knee with your right forearm or elbow, and left arm goes back. We are ready to work. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift, 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 lift. And again, twist. Turning and looking all the way over your left shoulder. I'm looking at you, just take a peek. Just keep working in the twist. Inhale, lift and lengthen, lift and lengthen. Lift from the sternum, from the crown of the head. Pull the vertebrae up. Pull the vertebrae up, 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 up. One more. And exhale. Slowly come back to center. Release. We'll take the legs out in front again. Dandasana. Hook the thumbs again, but this time with the other thumb on top. And then take the arms up. It's like a seated downward facing dog. Root down through the sits bones. And then reach up. Pull on the thumbs. Pull on the thumbs. And notice how your shoulder blades firm on the back. And we'll take the hands down. And we return to downward facing dog. Returning to downward facing dog. So hands under the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Now let's come into a cat pose first. Sorry, that would be a cow pose, wouldn't it? Come into the back bend. Hold that back bend as you pull back to dog. Hold on to the cow pose, the back bend, as you pull into the dog. So lift the hips up. And then look up on the inhalation and walk or step the feet towards the hands, hands towards the feet. We'll take the hands to the hips and we'll come all the way up into standing. Boom. Tadasana, mountain pose, is our posture pose, but all our standing poses work off of this. The sacrum, the 5 fused vertebrae below the lumbar spine, and the back of the head, 2 of the thickest bones in our body. They're protecting some stuff. Now they are ideally traveling on the same plane, traveling on the same plane. So if you back up to a wall, can everybody find a wall? It can be any wall, but it is a great posture just to practice standing. So your heels are going to be out probably a wee bit. But as you draw your sacrum towards your wall, and the size of the tush will determine how close you're going to get it. For most of us, we need to get a little bit more pull into the lower abdomen upward. Pull the abdomen in and up. Now draw the shoulders up and down the back. Up and then down the back. So you feel your shoulder blades on the back. And then let the head draw back so that the apex of the back of the skull is also moving towards the floor. So this is mountain pose. This is your neutral posture. Neutral posture. And then at ease. Because while it's neutral, it may not feel very natural. So where there is tension, so you can come back onto your mat again. But with posture, why it is so important is because the weight of the head and then the weight of our arms that hangs right across the collarbones travels down through the spine. It has to land into the sacrum. And then it gets redistributed down to each leg. But if our posture, if we are listing to one side, that whole side takes the weight of the body. We are no longer transferring the weight of the body down through the bones. We are now hanging out literally in our rubber bands the muscle tendons and ligaments, and they just get so tired, and then they are prone to injury because they get no new fresh blood circulation. So we are always moving towards mountain pose. Stand sideways on your mat, and let's place our blocks on each side of the mat. If you don't have blocks, no worries. You can do just fine without blocks. So the three, I call them the three musketeers: triangle, side angle, and warrior two. Like multiplication, you heard me say that on Tuesday too. It doesn't matter what order you do them in, so mix it up a little bit. Let's take the hands to the hips. So if you have been diagnosed with osteopenia or osteoporosis, do not jump. It can cause fracture. But if you haven't, it's encouraged that you jump. As on the next in-breath, jump the feet wide apart. At least a leg length. At least a leg length. So go plenty wide. Let's turn the left foot in 10 to 15 degrees. Turn the left foot in 10 to 15 degrees. And I'll mirror right leg out 90 degrees. Right leg out 90 degrees. So a wide stance, a narrow stance will make the pose more challenging. Inhaling, lengthen up through the crown of the head, and exhale, bend your right knee. And straighten it again. And bend. And straighten. Let's bend it and hold. Warrior two stance. Grounding down through your left heel. We'll take the arms up. Reach out through the fingertips. Reach out through the fingertips. And if this causes discomfort in the neck and shoulder, first, draw the shoulder blades down the back. And really reach, really reach. Firmly. Turn the head and look out over your right fingertips. And then settling into the pose. Hug muscle around bone. Hug muscle around bone. Especially in your thighs, hips, arms. While you breathe. Steady breath, steady pose, steady pose, steady mind. And let's straighten. Take the hands to the hips, spin the feet, opposite direction. Heel lining up with heel. And again, let's take it for a little test ride first. Bend the knee and straighten it. And look down at your knee as you bend it. Does it come to land right over the heel? Not wobbling inward or overshooting. If it overshoots, lengthen your stance. Let's hold this one. So as we sit up for the stance, chest facing the long side of the mat, chest facing the long side of the mat. You get your legs on board. Now, as best as you can tell, is your sacrum in the back of your head on the same plane. So the upper body is still in mountain pose. Still in mountain pose. Let's take the arms up. Squeeze the muscles around the bone in the leg. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Breathe and squeeze. Turn the head looking over your left hand. Breathe, one more breath. And straightening. Let's come back to center. Feet are parallel. And we'll turn the feet again. So now turn the feet towards the right side, heel to heel. Bend your right knee again. Take your arms up. Firm legs, super firm legs. Side angle pose. Reach out over the right leg. Reach out over the right leg. And either take the forearm to the inner knee or thigh, or use your block on the outside of your foot. Take the top arm overhead, overhead, reaching up. Powerful legs, powerful legs. Your front knee is over the ankle. And then draw the heart towards the sky. Heart towards the sky. If your top shoulder does not like this, just take the hands to the hip and rest it there. Perfectly fine. Now is the back of the skull and your sacrum traveling on the same plane as if you were in mountain pose. Here, your left side is in mountain pose. Just doesn't feel like it, I know. And then slowly straightening your right knee. And you can keep your hand on your shin. But be up tall, high enough where the spine is long, long. So a wide stance, again, is going to be helpful. A wide stance is helpful. A short stand, our trunk has no place to go. Powerful legs. So this is the pose, according to the Iyengar's, that cures all. The top arm, pull the shoulder blade onto the spine. As if you can do a little bit of a twist. Pull the shoulder blades to the spine, to the spine, to the spine. And we breathe. Breathe. One more breath. Soften your right knee a wee bit. Inhale all the way up. Whew. Turn the feet in the other direction. And bend the knee again. Take the arms up. And reach. Forearm to the inner thigh or knee, or use your block to the outside of the foot. Take the top arm either overhead or place it on your hip. So tall mountain is the pose that we are now in on our right side. And we're getting our left leg ready for tree pose. Squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze. Breathe. So 72 seconds is about 6 breaths. 6, 7-ish, especially if you're going by the heart rate variability. Now let's straighten the front knee. Take the arm either to the sky. And your left hand can be on the shin, it can be on the knee. Breathe. Draw your right shoulder blade towards the spine. Move it in towards the spine. Breathing, breathing. One more. And then bend the knees. Inhale all the way up. Take the hands to the hips and then heel toe, heel toe. Let's walk all the way in. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. An easy little one is our kickstand. Take your left heel and place it just above the right ankle. Left heel just above the right ankle. And this could be a good time to, use a chair or a wall for balance. If you know your balance is a little wobbly, have support. And then to balance here, super easy. Just lift the toes up. Keep the heel above the ankle. And you are now in a little sapling in the forest. Keep the hip moving in towards the center. Not dropping your right hip out to the side. We'll take the toes down and release back. Other side. Heel above ankle. Hug your standing leg hip towards center line so your muscles on the outer hip are working. And then lift the toes, just lift the toes, contracting the muscles, contracting the muscles. So 1 in 2 women over 50, osteopenia, osteoporosis, 1 in 4 guys. So it's out there. So right now we are increasing our bone density. I think of it as thread count in our bones because we are tugging on it with our muscles. This creates strong bones. Let's take the toe down, spin back out again. And then we are going to repeat because this is so good. So either repeat the kickstand if you feel the balance is a little off, or if you would like the bigger Lebowski here, take your foot up, place the toes above the knee or heel below the knee. Hug the hip towards center. It is windy in my studio today. And then either hands on the hips, heart center, or all the way up, reaching up, reaching up, reaching up. Breathing, breathing, holding. I'm going to aim the camera up a little bit. Breathing, holding, breathing, holding. Squeeze muscle in around bone. Great thing to do when you just have a few minutes, you're waiting. Or you want to hold on the phone. Practice tree. As you exhale, releasing back down. And the other side. So choose the variation that is best suited for your body today. It is just as fine a tree. Now, as you stand on one leg, hug the hip towards center. Is the back of your skull and your sacrum on the same plane? We create all kinds of compensatory movement patterns in our bodies. Breathe, ground. Deep roots on your tree, deep roots on the tree. And let's take the arms down if they are up. Release back. Breathe. Tadasana, standing as if you were standing up against a wall. With the sternum is lifted, but chin slightly down towards the chest. Tailbone draws down towards the earth. Like you have a really heavy tail. So the spinal alignment becomes acute in our next pose. Either take a chair or your blocks. For tighter hamstring, I encourage you to have a little bit of height for this pose. So let's see. A little table, short table, also works great. But have something for the hands. Revolve triangle pose. It is a pose where we want full spinal length. So if you're using blocks, have them on each side of your feet. If you're using a chair, have the chair just in front of your mat with two of the chair legs on the mat. We're going to step the right leg back. Step the right leg back. About 3 feet, so not as long as dances we had before. Spin the heel down, spin the back heel down. But draw your right hip forward, draw the right hip forward. Bend your front knee and straighten it again. Go back and forth. Getting a little bit of length in the calf. So again, chair or blocks. Blocks just demands a little bit longer hamstrings. Now inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. If you're using blocks, take your right block towards the inside of your left foot. On a chair, take your hand to the center of the chair seat. Your right hand center on the chair seat. Hook your left thumb into your left hip. We inhale, we lengthen, and we exhale, we twist to the left, twist to the left, twist to the left. Keep the spine long. So very similar to the seated twist we did earlier. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, twist, grounding through the back heel. It may come up, but then ground nonetheless. Keep the legs strong, strong, strong. Powerful. So here, the spine is not in compression as it is when we are seated. Huge bonus. And slowly release back to neutral. Let's take the hands back to blocks or chair. Soften your left knee, step the right up, and then step the left leg back. Step the left leg back. Spin the heel down. So your feet are on two little railroad tracks, side by side. You're not on a tightrope. Draw your left hip forward. Draw the left hip forward. And now let's bend and straighten our right leg several times. Bending and straightening. Bend and straighten. It's like, okay, I think we're good. Move your left hand to the center, either on the block or the chair seat, and hook your right thumb into the right hip crease. This is our reminder to keep this hip drawing back as we now begin to twist to the right side. Inhale, we lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, deepen the twist. Keeping the legs firm and grounded. So just the spine moves, just the spine moves. The legs exactly where we left them. Breathe. Breathe. One more powerful breath. And then slowly return to neutral. Bending your right knee. And you can use your chair for downward facing dog too. If you do so, take all 4 chair legs onto the mat or bring your hands down to the mat and step back to dog. Pull the hips back. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then take the knees down. Wide knees, big toes together, tops of the feet resting for wide-kneed child's pose. Wide-kneed child's pose. Let the head rest on the mat or on your forearms. Letting the head rest in a manner that is comfortable for your body. Getting your hips as close to the heels as you can. So big toes are touching. And you sort of snuzzle the ribs down between the thighs. And then from here, walk the hands under the shoulder. And we're going to push up just enough where we can now come onto our back body. And we're setting up for Shavasana. So taking maybe a blanket to support your head. Maybe under your legs, or maybe none. You want to be comfortable. You want to be comfortable. Removing eyeglasses. As you take your Shavasana pose for a little test run, make sure that you are really, really comfortable. The legs are slightly wider than your hips. And just let the feet roll out to the sides. The arms will be a bit out from your trunk, maybe 6-8 inches. And then have the palms facing upward, palms facing upward. So that your heart center, your shoulders can relax and release. Roll your head gently from side to side. Rolling the head gently from side to side. And then let it come to rest in the middle. Let it come to rest right in the center. So that nose and sternum and belly button all align. Let the breath draw into the belly. And then let that sensation spread. So as if not only the belly expands on the in-breath, but a sense of the whole trunk expanding the hips, pelvis, and trunk. And then this spreads further into the legs, arms, feet, and hands. And there's a gentle expansion on each in-breath, up in through the neck and the head. Now gently begin to deepen your breath. As you deepen the in-breath, signaling to your body that we are drawing back outward into the real world. But stay connected deep within to that place of quiet calm, of ease, deep within. Wiggling fingers and toes. Bend up your knees. And then rock the knees gently from side to side, rocking the knees gently from side to side. Eventually roll all the way over onto one side. Support your head. And then use your arms and hands to press up into a comfortable seated posture. We'll bring the palms together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Anjali means heart. With the thumbs touching your breastbone, connecting to your inner light, and the fingers reaching out to everybody and everything else, that which is not you. Let's close our class with 3 Oms. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart, towards you. Your inner light, guide, and teacher. Remain connected to this place regardless of what transpires on the outside. Let's draw the gaze up. Namaste.